What's up, everybody? Eric here with another EWE Reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing Arthur the King. This will be a spoiler-free review, but please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you want me to review next. I have a lot of reviews I need to get done, watched a lot of stuff in the past couple days, just haven't had time to do the actual review, so trying to catch up with everything, hoping to get everything out in a timely manner, so watch out for that. Alright. So, title of this film is Arthur the King. This will be a spoiler-free review. This is an adventure film that is PG-13 and was released on March 15, 2024 with a budget of $19 million, and as of March 19, 2024, it's only gotten $7.6 million. I'd be very surprised if the movie makes back its budget. It's a tough race. We'll talk about it more a little bit right now when we talk about like the plot and things like that. Actually, when we get to like the end, I'll tell you why I don't think it's necessarily going to make back its budget. All right. So the director for this film is Simon Kellen Jones. The cast includes Mark Wahlberg, Simu Liu, Julia Rylance, Natalie Emmanuel, and Ali Suleiman. And the runtime for this film is 107 minutes. I watched this in standard format. It didn't come out in IMAX or Dolby from what I could see, which is already a big hint of like, oh, a new movie and it's not even getting those formats. Like, that kind of tells you it's probably not going to do great. Has no end credit scene. Again, something I haven't mentioned. This is based off a true story, but they changed some of the ideas about it. In this film, the person was American. In the real thing, I'm pretty sure he was Swedish. So they changed some stuff around. It was a smart idea because you're trying to get it for a Western audience. It makes sense that you'd switch things around. So if you've seen the trailer, which I'm pretty sure at this point it's hard not to see a trailer for it, or maybe just my feed's going for it. The basic idea of this film is that this guy is an adventure racer. He's trying to do, I guess, his final chance to do a race. And while he's on this race, he runs into a dog, and the dog ends up joining their team, becomes part of the group, helps them out. That's the basic plot of the film, and I will say the trailer does give off a lot. I'll talk about it a little bit more in my thoughts in a second. But yeah, let's go into my thoughts for a second now. Let's actually move into my thoughts. Again, spoiler-free. I enjoyed the film, but I will also say that I am someone that if you put a dog film in front of me, more than likely, it's going to make me cry. So I can tell you Dog's Purpose, Dog's Journey, Dog's Way Home, cried through all of them. Homeward Bound, cried through all of them. You put me with the dog thing, it gets me. Why? Because I love dogs. So I was definitely the target audience for this film. But I will say the movie does make you care about the characters. Not necessarily the plot of the film, but the characters. They do have some interesting stuff that happens there. And like I said, you put a dog in there, I'm going to care about the dog, whatever you do with the dog. I was very interested in seeing how like this relationship with the dog went. Again, the dog was a stray. If being totally transparent, I got Luke, my dog, from a shelter, and he was a stray as well. So like I felt for this of like, okay, I know how it feels when you're dealing with an animal like that. So yeah, they definitely got me. They were tugging at my heartstrings the entire time. I'm like, oh, like the dog, like let's make sure nothing happens to the dog. And there are some scenes in this film, because like I said, it's an adventure film, where there are some scenes where like you really get invested. You're like, oh, what's gonna happen? And even though you know things are probably gonna turn out okay because this is like a lighthearted movie, it still gets you where you're like, I remember there's a scene where my heart was racing. I'm like, what's about to happen? What's about to happen? And it's like, Eric, come on, you know what type of movie this is. Why are you falling for it? But I fell for it. So I'll give them that. There was a couple scenes where I was at the edge of my seat. And the scenery for this film is beautiful. They're in the Dominican Republic, if I'm not mistaken. And it just looks beautiful. It's like, okay, this is awesome. I like how this all looks. It makes me want to go visit the place. And yeah, the characters were very interesting in my opinion. It was 4 racers plus the dog. And you hear all their stories and you kind of want to root for these people. You're like, okay, I like these people. Like, it takes a while for them to all to gel, but I actually liked it. Let's move into the bad, and I'll probably come back to some good at the end right here. The plot is very thin. I will say that, where the movie isn't long, except there's times where it's like, okay, you have a lot of establishing shots and like a lot of the scenery is like really driving a scene at times, and it's just like, so you guys did not have enough plot to like even if you made this movie longer, I didn't think it needed to be longer, but it's like you couldn't add more story to it. We couldn't have added, but at the same time, this is based off a true story, and the main thing was the dog. joining their team. That's the main crux of this movie. So that definitely does mess some things up, where it's like it's a very thin plot. Even though it gets you, it's like it's very thin. So there is a huge problem, and this has been a problem that I'm going to talk about in my next movie review as well. The trailer gives out way too much, and I mean a lot. The trailer just doesn't answer two things, and I won't mention what those two things are because it's spoiler free. And they're not in the trailer either way, but there's only two things the trailer doesn't answer. Everything else is answered in the trailer if you just pay attention to it. So that was kind of a little bit like, oh, okay. There are still some sweet scenes in the movie, don't get me wrong. But the trailer in this one, I think, was like a quick summary of the film. And if I'm being honest, I think that hurt it as well, because you kind of knew where the movie was going. So you could have easily just Googled the true story and you would have been like, oh, okay, that's what happened. So I wouldn't have done that. If I'm being perfectly honest, there was other ways you could have probably shown a trailer for this film and not given as much away. And then the movie does bring up some stuff at times. The movie doesn't answer. And it's just like, okay, why'd you bring that up if you're not going to answer it? And I was very confused about that. They were making it seem at times like the dog alone is going to get us to the finish line, that he knows like a quicker route, but like that's not what the movie's about. It's weird. I was very like, wait, but why'd you guys? Okay, and so it's like they're trying to get you, but there's times where it's just like, I don't get what you guys were trying to do here. Why do you ask questions that you're not going to answer? It got me. But like I said, going back to the length of the film, I didn't mind the length, but at the same time, I think even with the length that they had, they didn't offer as much as I wish they would have. Like, it's cool to see scenery shots, but it wasn't all that needed. It was just like, okay, can you put something here, some meat for me to like? Maybe there's other stuff that, I don't know, they could have done differently. I'll also say, prior to the dog joining the team, I'm not sure I would say the movie was all that interesting. It was mostly just Mark Wahlberg creating his team for like a good chunk, like the first 30 minutes. So it wasn't as interesting, and they don't really become interesting characters until they actually start the race. That's when it actually starts getting interesting. That's a good like 30 minutes into the film already. So all right. Now I'm gonna say, like, this is not good or bad, but I will say they kind of hurt themselves in the foot with this film. Of their main thing that they're doing is trying to market the man and dog relationship, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, that also means your target audience will be dog lovers, and I mean hardcore dog lovers like me, not casual dog lovers. So I don't think, like, well, when I was saying earlier, I'm not sure if this movie's gonna make back its money, because like not everyone's that big of a dog lover. I mean, you have to be like hardcore to be into that, and it's like, I just don't see that. I know people will say, oh, but everyone loves dogs. It's like, dog movies are a different level. Like, not everyone's gonna like to go watch dog movies. They're different. And I'll be honest, if I wasn't such a big dog lover, I think I probably would have skipped this film. And there's nothing against the film, it's just there's not much to it. It's a very simple film. This is one of those films like you watch one time and you're probably never going to think about it again. So let's now move on to my score, guys. And I know I'm sounding very negative, but like, I just thought this was mediocre, a 5 out of 10. There wasn't enough here for me to think, oh, this is great. Mark Wahlberg did a great job. Like, his part was good, and so did Simu Lee, and so did Nat. Like, the people that I mentioned, the cast, they did the best job they could have done, but there's not enough material for them to work with to actually make this like anything better than, like, I think at best it's okay, but I'm gonna go mediocre just because, like, I left the film being like, okay, it's over. And yeah, like, for recommending, if you're like a big dog lover, I definitely say watch it. Maybe not in theaters, maybe wait for this to come to streaming. It would be something nice to watch like on a weekend or something like that. But yeah, there's not enough for this film to justify going to watch it in theaters, if I'm being perfectly honest. Alright guys, so my next reviews, and I'm just going to list down the movies that I plan to review soon. So I still need to do the Avatar TV show, spoiler and spoiler free, because I need to talk about the spoilers for that film, that show. There's also Damsel. I'm going to start recording that soon. I finally watched Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I still owe review for Top Gun Maverick. Maverick will probably be something where it's like, if it's a slow week, I'll put that one out. But yeah, guys, I'm going to try and get those out soon. Hopefully it doesn't take me too long. But yeah, those are the upcoming reviews. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below. Did you watch this film? Or are you coming to my review to see if it's worth you go watching? Just let me know. I'm very curious. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you soon.